Welcome to Fantastic Vision. Please subscribe us before you watch today's video. In the chip competition between China and the United States has always felt that it has a winning chance. After all, the United States is the birthplace of semiconductors and has mastered a large number of core technologies. Not only is it always the most powerful chip design industry in the world, it also has strong control over the global semiconductor industry. Even top non-US semiconductor giants such as TSMC, Samsung, and ASML have to comply with the US chip ban. With the help of the chip ban on the export of advanced chips, advanced semiconductor equipment, and chip technology, the United States continues to suppress and contain the development of China's chip industry. Even under repeated sanctions from the United States, China's chip industry is still developing rapidly, and the United States is still not too worried. After all, mature process chips and advanced process chips are completely different concepts. The United States intends to use the tripartite agreement to restrict the shipment of semiconductor equipment, exclude China from the world chip industry chain, and completely lock the Chinese chip industry in the 14 nanometers process. To this end, they will not hesitate to harm the interests of domestic chip companies. Judging from the US chip ban, it can be said that the United States has used all possible means to suppress and contain China's chip industry. However, China's chip industry is still rising despite strong pressure from the United States. Just as U.S. Secretary of Commerce Raimondo threatened Huawei, if it does not stop the research and development of advanced technologies, the United States will launch more severe sanctions against Huawei. Within 24 hours, Huawei released its new smartphone Mate 60 Pro. It can be said that it completely caught the United States off guard, and even made Raimondo a joke, ridiculed by many people as endorsing Huawei. Huawei naturally has the confidence to do this. If the chip of Huawei Mate 60 Pro is shipped by Qualcomm or produced by TSMC, then Huawei will inevitably face a new round of supply cuts. So it is naturally impossible for Huawei to do this. The only explanation is that the Kirin 9000's chip used by Mate 60 Pro is independently produced by domestic chip manufacturers. Judging from the results of the US investigation into Huawei's Kirin 9000's chips, this is indeed the case, although it is not sure which Chinese chip manufacturer produced the Kirin 9000's chips and what technology was used. However, what is certain is that the foundry manufacturer of the Kirin 9000's chip is a Chinese chip foundry company and has reached advanced chip manufacturing processes. This means that Kirin 9000's is a completely domestically produced advanced chip developed and designed by Huawei HiSilicon and OEMed by Chinese chip manufacturers. It is very likely that it does not contain any American technology. This also makes the United States want to sanction the Kirin 9000's chip, but cannot find a way to sanction it. However, it is naturally impossible for the United States to remain indifferent in the face of Huawei's strong return. What's more, if it does not continue to increase its efforts to suppress the development of China's chip industry, then sooner or later the United States will be surpassed by China in the chip field. Therefore, after the emergence of Huawei's Kirin 9000's chip, the United States began to look for ways to suppress Huawei chips. It is reported that the United States has introduced a new final guardrail for the chip ban. Judging from the current news, the U.S. chip ban will restrict the expansion of any semiconductor company that has received U.S. chip subsidies in the Chinese mainland market within the next 10 years. Especially in terms of high-end smart chips, comprehensive sanctions have been strengthened. Not only that, Sullivan, the U.S. White House security advisor, also said, 5 rules should be formulated for China to prohibit China from developing advanced chip technology, advanced semiconductor equipment technology, advanced science and technology, and restrict Chinese chip products from entering the international market and Chinese advanced chips from entering the Russian market. The so-called ban on expansion in the Chinese mainland market within the next 10 years by the United States not only refers to production capacity, but also refers to the development of more advanced chip production processes. This also means that any semiconductor company under the restrictions of the U.S. chip ban will not be able to introduce advanced high-end photolithography equipment and advanced technology from China to the Chinese market in the next 10 years. This has cut off China's ability to pass other ways to obtain advanced semiconductor equipment and advanced chip technology. Regarding the U.S. chip sanctions, German media stated that the United States relied too much on technical sanctions, which led to the failure of the U.S. chip ban and sanctions. Judging from the current situation, this is also the case. The United States has been committed to erecting technical barriers through its own advanced technology and wants to restrict the development of China's chip technology, especially high-end chips. Even if the United States realizes that American chip companies cannot leave the Chinese market and has no choice but to liberalize chip shipments, U.S. Commerce Secretary Raimondo still stated that tens of billions of chips will continue to be shipped to the Chinese market, but high-end chips will still be restricted. Enter Chinese market. It is reported that the U.S. chip ban has cost $280 billion directly or indirectly so far, but judging from the current situation, it has not achieved any results. Now the United States has once again tightened guardrails on its chip ban and restricted the expansion of semiconductor companies in the Chinese market in the next 10 years. This is undoubtedly another sanction method targeting China's high-end chips. However, the previous stringent chip ban in the United States almost covered the so-called range of chip restrictions, including restrictions on chip shipments, chip technology, and semiconductor equipment. It did not prevent the Chinese chip industry from breaking through the advanced chip manufacturing process. Now the United States has strengthened guardrails. Can rules really have an impact on the development of China's chip industry?